The Latin American e-commerce and fintech scene, it's really buzzing, isn't it? And right at the center, you've got MercadoLibre. If you're watching that market, MELI is definitely a name to know.
Absolutely. Since 99, yeah. Based out of Montevideo, they've built this really quite impressive digital world. You've got the Mercado Libre marketplace, which is huge.
Right, the marketplace.
Then Mercado Pago for payments, Mercado Envios for logistics, plus the classifieds, ads, even Mercado Shops for setting up online stores. It's like the whole package for commerce down there.
And today, we're going to dig into how they've been doing recently. What's next?
Yeah, the idea is to cut through the noise,
Exactly. Give you the key things you need to understand where Mercado Libre stands, where it might be headed, without drowning you in data.
So what are those crucial takeaways right now? What really jumps out?
Okay, let's kick off with the stock itself. Currently trading around, what, $2,577. It took a bit of a dip recently, like 3.77%. Now, the report we looked at puts their fair value estimate quite a bit lower, around $2,034. When they did their analysis, the stock was at $262. So it suggests the market's pricing in a premium.
Which is interesting when you look at the 52-week range. It goes from about $1,550 all the way up near $636. So clearly a lot of upward movement this past year.
Definitely.
And analysts, their average target over the last 6 months or so is hovering around $2,400.
And you see that reflected in the news, too. Headlines about record highs, being a top tech stock. There was even that article, Why I'm Not Selling Mercado Libre After a 100% Gain. Lots of positive feeling there.
Right. So you have this contrast, the fair value estimate suggesting caution, but the market action, analyst targets, and general sentiment are all pretty bullish. Points to strong belief in future growth.
Which kind of sets the stage perfectly for looking at their recent results.
Exactly. Let's look at Q1 2025.
Okay, Q1 earnings, pretty strong. Net revenue and financial income, they jumped 37% year over year in US dollars.
And even more if you look at it, FX neutral, right? Like 64%, hitting $5.9 billion.
Yeah, a huge jump. And income from operations, up 45% year over year. That's $763 million, giving them a 12.9% operating margin. Solid.
Very solid. And net income kept pace, up 44% to $494 million. This isn't just ticking up, it feels like an acceleration.
The operational numbers seem to back that up too. Total payment volume, TPV, through Mercado Pago, up 43% in dollars, 72% FX neutral. That's $58.3 billion.
Wow.
And gross merchandise volume, GMV, on the marketplace side, up 17% in dollars, 40% FX neutral, hitting $13.3 billion.
And they're pulling in more users, too. Unique active buyers up 25% year over year, 67 million of them.
And the fintech side, Mercado Pago, over 64 million monthly active users now. That's growing over 30% year on year.
And you mentioned Argentina earlier. Their U.S. dollar revenues there more than doubled compared to last year. Just exceptional performance in that specific market.
So things look good now, but what's the plan? How do they keep this going?
Well, the big picture is that online penetration in Latin America is still relatively low, so there's just a lot of room to grow fundamentally.
Not a long runway.
Exactly. So they're making these pretty significant targeted investments to really cement their position.
Like what specifically? Where's the money going?
Okay, big focus on logistics. Expanding fulfillment centers, improving the whole delivery network. They've got huge plans for 2025, like $5.8 billion earmarked for Brazil, $3.4 billion for Mexico.
Wow, those are serious numbers.
They are. And they're also pushing hard on scaling their credit card business, again, mainly in Brazil and Mexico.
Okay.
Plus, they're really investing in Mercado Pago. Marketing, adding features like accounts that earn interest, trying to make it the go-to digital bank in the region.
So it sounds like maybe prioritizing growth and market share over immediate profit bumps in some areas.
I think that's a fair assessment. The report does mention that these big investments, especially logistics and credit in Brazil and Mexico, might put some short-term pressure on contribution margins.
Makes sense.
But they clearly see it as necessary for the long haul, capturing that huge potential. It's worth noting their Q1 operating margin boost was actually helped a lot by Argentina, which runs at higher impressions right now.
And the ambition for Mercado Pago is really to be number one, the biggest digital financial platform.
That seems to be the clear objective, yeah. Making financial services more accessible across Latin America. And we're seeing strong growth in specific areas, too, like their supermarket category, 65% jump in items sold year over year.
65%, wow.
And the ads business is doing well, too, growing around 50% FX neutral. There's potential there even beyond the marketplace, like with Mercado Play.
This whole integrated model marketplace payments, logistics, ads, it feels like a really strong competitive advantage.
Oh, absolutely. That's their wide economic moat, right? This
Yeah.
powerful ecosystem where everything connects. The marketplace drives users to Pago. Pago makes buying on the marketplace easier. It creates this strong network effect.
Plus, people just know the brand.
Exactly. High brand recognition, customer preference in key markets. And they keep strengthening it with these investments in logistics and fintech. It makes it really tough for others to compete head on.
But there is competition, obviously.
Oh, for sure. It's intense. E-commerce, you've got players shipping from Asia, you've got Amazon, even newer platforms like TikTok Shop getting in the mix.
Right.
And in fintech, you've got the traditional banks waking up, plus other big digital banks like Nubank. It's crowded.
Because lots of players vying for attention.
Yeah, although MercadoLibre does point out, interestingly, that new entrants can actually help grow the whole pie by bringing more offline people online.
That's a good point.
And potentially, things like tariffs on cross-border shipments, which Mexico and Brazil have been looking at, could actually benefit local players like Meli.
Let's quickly touch on their credit portfolio. You mentioned they're scaling that.
Yeah, big growth there, too. 75% year-over-year expansion in the portfolio.
75%. Is that risky?
Well, they say delinquency levels are comfortable. They've apparently made improvements in their scoring models. They even hit a new low for first payment defaults on the Brazil credit card, which is a good sign.
Okay. And how are they funding all this lending?
It's a mix. Warehouse facilities, tapping the capital markets. They also do some tactical internal booking in Brazil to manage costs. And looking ahead, they're planning to launch the Mercado Pago credit card in Argentina in the second half of 2025. Another big step.
Okay, so tons of positive momentum, huge investments. What are the main things to be cautious about? The key risks?
Well, number one is probably that valuation point we started with. The report suggests the stock might be trading at a premium to its estimated fair value.
Right, the market might be pricing in a lot of future success already.
Exactly. Then there's the short-term margin pressure from all these investments we discussed. That's something to watch.
Competition isn't going away either?
Definitely not. It's intense and always changing. And of course, operating in Latin America means exposure to macroeconomic stuff, currency swings, inflation, economic ups and downs in different countries.
Always a factor in that region.
Yeah, and they did mention specifically that the technology vertical in Mexico had a bit of a slower start because of strong competition there. So it's not all smooth sailing everywhere.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. If we boil down this deep dive on MercadoLibre, what are the main takeaways for listeners?
I'd say first, strong Q1 performance. The core business, that integrated e-commerce and fintech engine, is firing on all cylinders.
Got it. Strong execution.
Second, they are absolutely playing the long game, making massive strategic investments, especially in logistics and credit, to capture what they see as huge future growth in Latin America.
But that comes with potential short-term costs.
Right, which leads to the third point, valuation and risk. The stock reflects high expectations. These investments could weigh on margins for a bit, and the competition is fierce. It's a dynamic situation.
So it's a story of really impressive potential and current strength, but balanced against that high valuation and the costs of aiming for even bigger future dominance. Definitely want to keep watching closely.
Agreed. A fascinating company in a key growth region.
Absolutely. And look, if you found this focused analysis useful, if you want more deep dives like this that cut straight to what matters in business and finance,
Then you should definitely subscribe to the channel.
yeah, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell icon too. That way you won't miss out. And honestly, it really helps us keep bringing you these kinds of concise, insightful explorations. Your support makes it possible.